Hello, friends. Your old Uncle Andy here, the UC Panda himself, coming to you on Friday, September 5th, with what we hope are some winning sports picks. We've already had some winning sports picks last night. If you were following us over on Twitter, Uncle Andy Sports, we gave out three winners. So we're 3-0 so far on this football weekend. Um, Here at Uncle Andy Sports Investments, we're feeding families. So go ahead and stick with us. I meant to make the video last night. I just didn't have time, basketball practice and such. So we'll give you a little update. Now we're down just 13.65 units since the beginning of the year. Made, well, probably a little over 3 units last night. I'll have to add it all up to see where we stand, but we're within shouting distance of profitability again for the year. I suspect had I not played Major League Baseball at all over the summer, I probably would be in the profit, but I'm not going to sit here for 3 months and bet nothing but Belterra Park horses. So little update on the ladder challenge. It went down Monday in defeat. Uh, real killer there. I had the Milwaukee Brewers, if you remember, and they jumped out to a 4-0 lead at home against the Phillies and coughed it up. So that was a little bit tough to swallow, but that's all right. That's the way it goes. I was only out $5. We'll get into the picks here in a moment. Like I said, keep on following us over at Twitter. I know for a fact I'll have more plays tomorrow because the sports books are going to dangle those props and promos and sweet deals and parlay boosts and whatever tomorrow. So I'm certain we're going to have some more plays that will be in addition to what we're about to share. And I know I'm going to have a play on the Bills game Monday night. I'm just hoping for maybe some better lines with the teasers. So let's get into it here. Um, if you followed us last night on Twitter, or if you've even been following us, I gave this play out weeks ago, Cowboys +7. That was a winner last night. These are plays I think we've already shared before, but we'll go ahead and go Jaguars -2.5, Bucks -1.5, Bengals -5.5. They've got a new thing on DraftKings. They call it a ghost leg parlay. So in this case, I've got three legs on the parlay. If just one of them loses, it's not going to count and they're still going to pay out. I don't know if they're going to pay out the full value of the parlay or just 2/3 of the value of the parlay. But anyway, you're not going to lose the whole parlay if just one leg loses. So you'll get something out of it anyway. So I think that's pretty cool of DraftKings to do. So we're going to go ahead and go with what we've already shared. Bengals, Broncos, Commanders, +141. Hopefully they all three come in, but I'll take two of the three of those anyway. We posted last night on Twitter a Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown boosted to even money on DraftKings. So that hit pretty early on in the first quarter. So we were all pretty excited about that. Had Cowboys +8.5 last night. No sweat bet. Really a rocking chair bet. That bet really was never in doubt the entire way. Got a good parlay going. Eagles, Bengals, Commanders, Broncos +464 boosted. That I love. So that may help also put us back into profitability. I'm going to go with the Colts. Love the Colts at home. Colts celebrating or honoring, I should say, the passing of their previous owner, Mr. Israel, I think his name is. Should be an emotional game for the Colts. They're at home. I like the Colts. As far as Matthew Stafford is concerned, he's been banged up. He's got a bad back. You know, a back is not like a hangnail. Back is an injury that stays with you. It will not go away easily. Stafford didn't play at all in the preseason. It wasn't even 100% certain he was going to be available to go week one. So I don't see him being in. It wouldn't surprise me if he got hurt and didn't even make the whole game. That wouldn't shock me one bit. Texans pretty good defense. You know he's going to get smacked around at least a couple of times. You know the Texans are aware of his compromised state. So I don't think the Rams, even if Stafford does make it through the whole game, that they're going to rely on him necessarily to try to win the game. So I don't think he gets to 33 pass attempts, and I don't think he gets to 236 yards. So we're going to fade Matthew Stafford on Sunday against the Texans. Like the Chargers +3 tonight. I know it's in Brazil, and um, but I just think Harbaugh. I think the Chargers +3. I'll take it. Wouldn't surprise me if the Chargers won the ball game. We also got a little teaser going tonight in college. Maryland -10.5, Louisville -6.5. Put them together for plus money. These teams are also on the money line, going to figure prominently in our juice reducer parlay that we'll talk about here in a moment. Um, Maryland playing a bad, and I mean bad, Northern Illinois team. Northern Illinois barely survived last week against Holy Cross. Holy Cross probably should have won. So I just am not believing that Northern Illinois is going to come into a Big Ten venue like Maryland, although, they're the little brother of the Big Ten. I just don't think Northern Illinois is going to come in there and acquit itself very well. I could be wrong. That's why they call it gambling. But I do like Maryland to roll. Love Louisville. Love Louisville to roll. Love Louisville as a dark horse, maybe even to win the ACC this year. So we're going to go with the Juice Reducer Parlay. Worked really well out for us last weekend. Going to go with Maryland, Louisville. Going to go with Navy against a UAB team that they thrashed last year. And Arkansas at home against lowly Arkansas State. Put them together. We're about where we were last week at minus 205. Got an implied probability of hitting of 67%. So I love this thing. I don't foresee a landmine here. If there's a landmine, there's a landmine. If UAB, which barely beat a division or a FCS team last weekend, they go into Navy and win as a 22-point dog, where Navy killed them last year, you tip your cap to UAB. Same thing, Arkansas State, if old Butch Jones can go into Arkansas, Fayetteville and win as a, I don't know, I think it was a 24-point underdog or whatever it was. Tip your hat to I think they're the Red Wolves of Arkansas State. Tip your hat to Butch Jones as well. But I feel really good here about this Juice Reducer parlay. Going to include the Bengals Broncos in this Juice Reducer parlay plus 153. Really like that. Like Iowa in these points, I think Iowa is live to win the game. I know a lot of people are really impressed with that Iowa State win over Kansas State that first week, and it was a good thing. But as we've seen Kansas State in the past couple of weeks, Kansas State needed basically a miracle to beat North Dakota last weekend. I think it just sort of takes some of the shine off that win that Iowa State had over Kansas State in that first week there in Dublin. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Iowa. It's always a spirited contest between these two. I'll point this out, strangely enough. The away team in the last 5 games in this heated rivalry series has won the game. Unders are also 4-1 in this series. I think this is live to be an under as well. This game did go over last year though, so I mean a little more cautious on that, but I do like Iowa in these points. If Iowa loses the game, I don't think they're going to lose it by 9. So that's why I feel really good about this bet. UConn Syracuse teased them over 51.5. The last 2 meetings in this series have gone over. Last year, UConn 8-4-1 to the over. Syracuse last year 8-4-2 to the over. So overall the way in this contest. Like SMU in the points at home against Baylor. Baylor didn't really impress me last weekend. I mean, a lot of people, I know they were against Auburn, but this isn't Cam Newton's Auburn. I know a lot of people were high on Baylor last week. I just didn't think they looked particularly good. I think SMU up and coming squad. I will go ahead and take SMU in the points. Jacksonville State, I do like them in the points against Liberty. Last year, Jacksonville State covered this game. Jacksonville State 6-3 ATS last year, 5-2 at home against the number, and 3-1 as a dog. So we'll go ahead and go with Jacksonville State in these points. I mean, I don't think Jacksonville State is necessarily going to win the game. I wouldn't put it past them, but we will take them in the points. Love Ole Miss at Kentucky. Kentucky did not impress me last week at all against Toledo. Toledo hung right there with them. So we'll take Ole Miss in the points. Like Houston tees down. I wouldn't lay the whole 14 against Rice. But I do like Houston tees down to below the 7, 6.5. We'll take it at plus money. And on the screen here, all these numbers in parentheses, those are what those bets would be if they were not in the Juice Reducer parlay. So in the case of Ole Miss minus 3.5 by itself would be a minus 250. Well, we don't want to bet that. So we take Ole Miss minus 3.5 and we put them in the Juice Reducer parlay with the 4 heavy favorites that we mentioned earlier. And it goes from minus 250, and I didn't put it on here, but it's plus money. So all these bets go from minus 250, minus 210 up to plus money. And all we're doing is hoping that Northern Illinois doesn't beat Maryland, UAB doesn't beat Navy. These are things that should happen. So love Memphis minus 6.5 at plus 113. Like Oklahoma at home money line. I don't know if I'd lay the 5 with them if I had to tease it at all. I would maybe tease it down to -2.5. But I mean, if you're going to tease it down to -2.5, just take it money line and be done with it. That's what I say. Western Kentucky and Toledo. Like the under in this game. I mean, I will say I've saw some respected money coming out and saying the over. I just don't see it that way. But Toledo certainly last year or last week demonstrated that their team that historically and last week against a Big Ten foe, their defense is for real. And in this game last year, these two teams played. Western Kentucky won 26-21, stayed under quite handsomely. So I think it'll stay under here. I mean, 66 points, that's a lot of points. So we'll go ahead and take the under. Love Arizona State money line against Mississippi State. Arizona State has a lot of people coming back from this playoff team last year. I know they're going on the road to an SEC team. Well, this isn't Starkville. They're playing at Mississippi State. Mississippi State, very unimpressive last week against Southern Miss. I'll take Arizona State money line at +108. I like Arizona State just laying the -5.5, -6. The public is all over Mississippi State this weekend. I don't really know why. So we'll go ahead and take Arizona State money line. If you wanted to lay the 5.5, go ahead. Like the over in UCLA, UNLV, kind of like UNLV to win the game. Like the Lions +7. That prop by itself is -300 with the Lions going to take on Green Bay. Lions +7 takes it from a -300 down to a -107. So we'll go ahead and go with that. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions won the game. So I mean, if you want to dangle a money line bet out there on that, I don't think you'd be too far amiss. Texans at the Rams. We talked a little bit about this a few minutes ago. Love the Texans. I think the Texans are live to win the game. Texans just a great defense, and Rams compromised quarterback. So definitely Texans all day in the points. That's all for us. Like I said, keep following us over on Twitter, Don't Play Any Sports, and Facebook as well. And we will certainly be posting some plays between now and then, probably some props. Probably going to hop on like a Bengals opening drive prop, something like that. Burrow attempts prop. I mean, you name it. There's all sorts of things out there to bet. Take it easy here in week 1 of NFL. We don't really know what's going to happen. Underdogs traditionally first week in the NFL, maybe not winning games outright, but certainly covering at a pretty good clip. So keep that in mind. I'll be laying some of these big point spreads. That's really about all the advice I have. We hope everybody has a good Friday. Go watch a Friday night football game tonight. That would be a good thing for you to do. And we hope everybody has a great weekend of football. And if you tail us to the window, we will cash tickets together. Have a good day, everybody.